Hello, I'm Matt Bowser. I'm the Stewardship Director with the Montana Wilderness Association, and in this video I'm going to walk you through the steps of how to construct a hand washing station. It's perfect for any sort of camping environment you may find yourself in, whether it's front country or back country, but a great way to keep you and the people you're camping with, your hands clean. If you want to learn more about the Montana Wilderness Association, you can click on the link in the comments below, or you can visit wildmontana.org. But let's get started, shall we? So, pretty basic setup here, not too elaborate as you can see. I cannot take credit for this design. It's been around a while in backcountry circles. But basically you have this bottom bucket which holds the clean water, which then goes out to this pump, this foot pump, and then up to the tap behind into the top bucket, which catches the dirty hand washed water, and you can dispose of pretty easily and properly afterwards. And you can buy these online pre-made, pre-assembled, or you can make your own for about a third of that cost. And let's get into it. Okay, we've moved into my garage to begin putting this thing together, and I wanted to outline the tools that you're going to need and the parts required to construct one of these stations. First off, the tools. You're going to need a drill of some sort and a larger bit, a straight edge razor, some needle nose pliers, a flathead screwdriver, and a hair dryer of some kind. And of course, you're going to need some buckets. These are the ingredients to put this thing together. Some buckets. One will need to have a lid. And of course, the larger buckets you choose, capacity-wise, the less often you're going to have to change out the water. So that's why I went with this larger size here, but any size will do. And then getting into some of the other individual components, we have a 10-foot hose. And you can pick these up at your local hardware store. This is a 10-foot one. It's a 1/2 inch. I think that's a decent size for what we're doing here. This becomes the tap. It's called funny pipe. 2 feet section of funny pipe. I think it's used for lawn irrigation, but again, hardware store. Next up, some washers. These have little screens that you put in the bottom bucket to filter out any leaves or pine needles that may be in there, so they do not end up into the pump itself. Next up, we have this handy dandy little device for hose. It's called hose. It's for hose repair. For say you had 2 pieces of garden hose that you wanted to splice together. This is the device you would use for that. Also available at any hardware store. Next up, some clamps. These are some hose clamps. Again, they need to be a 1/2 inch, capable to go around 1/2 inch piping or tubing, and a little clamp that will hold the tap onto the top bucket. And then most importantly, the pump itself. And you can see the brand name of this one. This is probably the higher quality. You can get a one that's a little bit cheaper in your hardware store. Find them in the RV and marine department, typically used to funnel gas or to pump gasoline into a motor engine, but they work just fine for water and are approved for water. So this is a higher quality one, and we get so much use out of these. I wanted to invest a little bit money, an extra $20, and get one that's going to last a long time. All right. Okay, let's put this thing together. Beginning with our 10-foot hose. We need to find the center point of this hose and cut it in half. So an easy trick to find that is grab both ends and spool out the rest, which you can't see off camera, but find the center equal. So that's 5 feet. Each half will be 5 feet. Make a little mark. You can take your straight edge, or even a pair of scissors. And work it. Now you have your two pieces of hose. You have your pump, and you can maybe see the arrow there. It's going in, that's going out. So you want the water from the bottom bucket going into the pump. So that will be this end, the female, I think is what they call that, the female end. So we'll begin with that one. You take your hose clamp and ease that guy in there. Like so. And this is where you take the washer with the screen, put that guy in there. Give it a nice home so that it's not going to fall out. The little rubber gasket has some kind of micro teeth that you can't see, and you want those to fit down into the thread of the hose. And like I said, that's going to filter out any of the any leaves or duff or pine needles that are in the intake bucket. On this side, take the other half of the hose. This is going to lead up to our tap, and another hose clamp. Ease that onto the pump. And all I did was just tighten the clamps up with the flathead screwdriver, so those are nice and secure now. Intake, outtake. So we'll move to our tap device, which is where this little handy device comes into play. What we need to do is to attach this funny pipe to this hose attachment, and you can see, let's go with this side. You can see that's pretty tight. I'm using some strength there, and it's not going. So here's the trick that I found works, is this is where your hair dryer comes into play. And we're just going to heat up the edge of this funny pipe. And that should slide on for you a lot easier than if it were not heated up. I got it about halfway on. I'm going to heat it up just a little bit more. There, you can see that's now slide down the whole way. You take your third and final hose clamp, and again we'll fasten this here with the screwdriver. Okay, you can see I've got the hose clamp fixed to the bottom here. One thing I didn't show you was these little forks, these little metal forks that come up all around. I used the needle nose and bent two of them back just so that this clamp could rest a little bit closer to the bottom there on this device, this tap. So here is the money shot of how we turn this into a tap. And you're going to need, I guess this is why they call it funny pipe, because it bends. Pretty flexible stuff, as you can see, but you don't want to go for it all at once. And we're going to need to hold that in place. And what I came up with was a nice fat rubber band that you get when you buy broccoli in the grocery store. Pretty heavy duty thing. And you might want to keep a handful of these extra in your cache when you go out in the woods. So if you lose one, you have another one handy. If not, you could probably maintain this shape with a short leash of pea cord or something. And there you go. That gives you the bend. The water's going to come up and out and over, and wash your hands underneath. The last piece here is to fix the tap to the hose, which conveniently, pretty easy to do. Just screw it on. And that is your pump, hose, tap connection, which is the main body of work here. Now all we need to do is poke a hole into the bucket with the drill bit and put this thing together. You're going to want to put about 1.5 inch diameter hole into the bottom bucket. This is the bottom bucket that will be holding the clean water, which will then get pumped up through the device. I don't have 1.5 inch bit. I have 1 1/8 inch, so I don't want to buy a brand new bit, so I'm just going to put 2 holes next to each other that would accommodate the hose going into the bottom bucket. One, and then just another one right next to it. There you have it. That should accommodate the hose. And here's what it looks like when it's all put together. You can see the hole in the back of the bucket, over to the pump, back out of the pump, and up, clamped on right here with that red clamp, out of the tap. And action shot. It works. One piece of flair that I added was this piece of scrap wood to fix the pump to. There's some already existing screw holes on the pump. It comes that way, and I think it's a smart idea for the amount of use we're going to have on the device out in the woods. If you're setting this pump down if there's some mud or some soft duffy surface, it's going to give you more purchase if you have that wooden base underneath. That's pretty much it. I do want to show you just one last thing, how it all packs up, and easy for storage as well. And there you have it. It all fits down nicely into one bucket. It's one advantage to doing the tap and the way that we did in this video is that you can unscrew this, the rest of the hose. You can see it all fits into one bucket, and then plop that into the next. Lid on top, packed down, ready to take out camping with you. Thanks for watching, and happy hand washing.